Okay guys, we're genuinely cooked. 32 gigs of DDR5 RAM now roughly cost 420 euros here. That's a full-blown PC money right here, right? So we're out here on a mission right now, and a difficult one. Can we build a 2K capable gaming PC for the same price? But first, we have to set up the rules. With the first one being that it has to be able to play CS2, Battlefield 6, Arc Raiders, Black Myth Wukong, and Marvel Rivals all on 1440p smoothly. Second, it has to cost less than the price of 32 gigs of DDR5 RAM. Duh. And third, the one we used in the previous builds is that we can't use any of the free stuff like throwaway cases or a magical RAM drawer full of free RAM or anything like that. So everything here has to be bought. And fourth, it has to have at least 16 gigs of RAM and a 1TB SSD. Because you know, 512 gigs these days are good for what, like 3 new games? So despite making the system capable of 1440p gaming, we'll also make it able to hold a few more games. So what did we come up with? Well, guys, this will be good, because for the CPU I've managed to squeeze in a used Intel Core i5-13400T from a random refurbished small form factor PC, and I bought it for just 75 euros. And I know that it's a T model, meaning that it only has a 35 watt TDP, but it can actually go up to 82 watts and 4.4 GHz, so we'll see what it can do. But at least in my opinion, it is something more interesting than a Ryzen 5 5600 or something, because I'm pretty sure that you guys have seen like 4 billion PC build videos on these, so it will be more interesting for sure. Now, the motherboard we got was this MSI Pro H610MG for the real G's out there, which cost me only 42 euros, and it was so cheap because it was refurbished.
Psych! We don't care. Let me tell you, we don't care.
And by being refurbished, it means that we lose the IO shield and the 2-year warranty. Instead, we get 3 months. But hey, we saved 20 euros here, and we are seriously on a tight budget, so every penny counts. And in this case, it's not a penny, it's like 20 euros. Our cooler of choice was this tower cooler, which comes with and has features such as... Anyways, we've used this in our builds quite a lot, and all jokes aside, it's really solid. So I think with this one, our i5-13400T will be cold, especially for 16 euros. But to go with 2K gaming, we will have to make some sacrifices. For example, we'll use this bummer case. Does it have good airflow?
No.
Well, not really. Is it good with cable management? Nope. But it was cheap, because for only 36 euros brand new, we can't really complain. It looks semi-decent with its honeycomb design, and when it comes time to sell it, people will not be scared of it just because of the looks. And another sacrifice we had to make was a power supply, and as you can imagine, my 300 mining power supply stash is not finished yet, so for 17 euros, this amazing power supply is going in. And for a couple of real ones in the comments that expressed a concern about the longevity of these power supplies and the quality, well, I have to say that out of around 200 I've put into PCs, only one so far came to be replaced throughout the year. So I'd say that these are pretty solid, especially because they were supposed to be gold rated and they were running 4 to 6 RTX 3070s or sometimes even 3080s at once 24/7. So big mining farm planners wouldn't risk downtime or other components being destroyed due to faulty PSUs or something. But that's just a theory. A cheap bastard's theory. But yeah, anyways, if you buy something like a CX500 or CX600 Corsair unit, you'll be perfectly fine and it will cost the same price. Anyways, I won't edge you anymore, guys. Probably the most important and interesting component. For the GPU, I got this RX 6600 for 110 euros, because for this price, nothing competes with it. Like, seriously, I could have gotten either the RTX 2060, which is worse in almost every metric possible, or I could have gotten the RX 5700 XT, which is a bit faster in rasterization, but it doesn't support ray tracing. So for future-proofing or even starting some of the games like Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and Doom the Dark Ages, the RX 6600 is the GPU to go with at this budget, in my opinion at least. Cause I probably could have gotten the RTX 2060 Super or 2070, which are genuinely superior, but at this moment in time they were at least 50 euros more, or around 50% more, so I was not feeling like paying extra. And as for RAM, you guys weren't expecting much, and to be fair, I didn't get much. For 40 euros, this is what I managed to squeeze out. Some random 2 8GB sticks of DDR4 RAM, and that's about it. Yeah, like seriously, at least they were 2666 MHz and not 2133, but in terms of latency, I imagine they are not the best. Hopefully they will do the job fine. And as for SSD, I snagged this 1TB Lexar NM620 M.2 NVMe SSD, and of course it was off marketplace for 50 euros. And later on in the video you'll see that it wasn't wiped clean for some reason. But anyways, it is also not the fastest or the best on the market when it comes to credibility and reliability, but hey, at least it isn't M.2 SATA type. So adding everything up, the total cost came in at 386 euros, making it actually even cheaper than those damn 32 gigs of DDR5. So let's put everything together and see if this PC can deliver on my promises to you guys. Just like you promised me to hop on our Discord, but you ain't there yet. Okay, never mind. No pressure, guys. But yeah, first of all, it has to start. And probably because the PC was so scared of being held at fist point, bro started right up and we saw this. Like, I somehow managed to buy a Polish SSD. Well, Patrick, next time you put your SSD up for sale, please wipe your stuff, because it could have gotten into wrong hands. Like, I'm honestly not gonna look through anything here and just straight up wipe Windows. Okay guys, gaming time! And starting off with CS2, this PC is able to handle 1440p medium settings pretty well, as it should, even if you're a hardcore esports sweat. 1080p didn't see that much of an improvement, indicating a probable CPU bottleneck, so 1440p users, stay on 1440p and just don't worry, enjoy the game. Battlefield 6 isn't guaranteed to run ideally if you're planning to drop out of school to play this game full time on this PC, but with teammates that are on level 67 and 1440p medium settings, we got almost 60 FPS. Like, it's not that bad and certainly playable, though you might want to either slightly lower some settings, play on like a low to medium settings mix, or drop down the resolution, because 1080p medium was really smooth. Arc Raiders on 1440p high actually ran pretty well considering it's a mid-tier GPU from 2021 that we're using. It always stayed above 60 FPS, although it had some light stuttering here and there depending on the area of the map, so I'm just gonna blame that on RAM and just move on. And for your information, 1080p high didn't remove any of the stuttering, so if you want to play without any of that, you'd have to drop down the settings a bit, though as you can see, we're getting a very playable experience for the price. And by the way, fun fact guys, midway through making this video, I actually sold this PC, so you'll not see much of the end footage as we really had to ship it out fast to Panevežys, but props to the guy for getting himself a nice system. Now, back to benches. Though unfortunately, Marvel Rivals will not let us play in the high refresh rate territory, cause even the in-game benchmark test said that the gameplay is stuttery AF. Like on 1440p low with FSR unbalanced, it barely got 60 FPS, and I mean barely. 1080p was better. 88 FPS on an esports title is never ideal, but it's at least manageable. But sadly, we had to drop down FSR even lower to performance, and basically then our little system managed to get slightly better 1440p results and managed to even cross 100 FPS thankfully. So I think in the end we have managed to build a very solid PC for the price, and especially considering the environment we're in, we have proved that it is actually possible to to build yourself something nice solely for the price of 32 gigs of DDR5 RAM. And of course, we had to dip to below medium settings on Battlefield 6 and Marvel Rivals, but come on bro, at least the gameplay experience was good, and it doesn't mean that if you play on low settings you can't enjoy the game. And yeah, to be fair, this PC is more of a 1080p warrior than 1440p Slayer, but once again, for the price of 386 euros, we got ourselves a system that is very easy to upgrade later on because we're rocking that sweet LGA 1700 platform, and we have a PSU that can hold a 3080 easily, and you can always swap out the RAM for more if some deals pop up. And yeah, I'm really curious if you have tried to put something similar to yourself, so share that in the comments. I always like to read them. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Cheap Bastard out.